Hey guys, how's it going? First of all, I just want to wish you guys like happy holidays. All the holidays, Christmas especially, is right around the corner. So I hope you guys are staying safe and having fun with your family. So the reason why I'm making this video is I want to give you guys a tour of that. My own car, the Mazda 3 hatchback. Now I wanted to make this video because it is so clean right now. It looks so good right now in the late afternoon Florida sun. This red just looks so good in the sunlight, and I just wanted to give you guys kind of an in-depth tour of the car and show you guys around it and give you my thoughts and opinions on the car. Now the first thing I want to talk about is this red. Mazda calls it soul red, and it is just such a beautiful color. In the sun, it has this candy apple red effect. Sorry for the train noise, but this color, it just pops, and in different lighting, it looks completely different. So like right here, it's like a candy apple red, but when you look over there, it looks completely different, and at night it can almost look like a maroon color. Like if you look over here, you can see the light hitting it in different ways, and then when the whole side of the car pops, it really pops. Right now it's a little bit darker, but it still looks really, really nice. So that is probably my personal favorite thing about this car, and I'm gonna be honest, I personally would have not gotten this car if it wasn't in this red. It just, the red kind of really seals the deal for me on this car. So I actually want to talk about the modifications that I've done to this car, because this car does not look like a stock Mazda 3 hatchback, at least cosmetically. Internally, it's pretty much stock, but I have a Night Sport front bumper here. Now, what this does is it makes the car look way more aggressive, and it actually also modernizes the look of the whole car. You have these black elements throughout the bumper, which I think really adds to the meanness of the design of the car. It just looks so aggressive. It almost looks like this is what the Speed 3 bumper should look like if Mazda were ever to make a Speed 3 of this generation, but they never did. Also, there's a black grille, and you have less slats with mesh here, which really adds to the look. And some people, they will modify the front end by just the grille and not the bumper, but the bumper for me really seals it. Also, it has these vents on the side, which are they're open, you can, but they don't do anything, but they look really cool. Painted the wheels black, didn't do a very good job. I will plan on getting new wheels, but it just, right now I'm gonna keep the stock wheels at the moment. Also, I have carbon fiber mirror caps. These look real nice in the sun, especially. We plasti dipped this, and it doesn't, some bit came off, so that might need to be vinyl wrapped black in the near future. I also plasti dipped the back badges of the car, and I removed the Sky Active badge. I really think this looks a lot better. I also put a new license plate. I put a USF plate, and also a red carbon fiber trim. You can't really see it. There you go. But it looks really nice in the sunlight. Also, I did a Borla axle back exhaust system on this car. No, not system. It's more of just an axle back system. So it is not too loud, but it's a really nice volume, I think. It does not sound too raspy. That was like my biggest worry, because this is a 4-cylinder, and the last thing I want this thing sounding like is a ricer, and considering what it is, I think it sounds pretty good. Moving on to the interior of the car. So this actually has push keyless entry, so you just push that once and you are good to go if you have the key in your pocket. Now, This is the interior of the car. Let me turn it on and turn the steering wheel the correct direction. All right, now I move the car into a more shadier spot so you can actually really see the interior of this car. So first really cool detail is this car has red stitching on the seats. Really nice detail. I'm a big fan of that. And the interior, this is the iGrand Touring. So this is the small 2-liter 4-cylinder with 155 horsepower, but it's fully loaded. So you got the Bose sound system, which is a 9-speaker system. It sounds okay. It's not the best, but it sounds pretty good. You get a sunroof, which I use all the time. I love having a sunroof. And you also get the navigation, which I never use. And it comes with leatherette seats. You can get leather on the S Grand Touring, which is the bigger engine, but this is leatherette, and I actually think it looks just fine. And if a lot of people think it's real leather anyways. Also, it has heated seats, which in South Florida, you don't really need. With the temperature outside, 71 degrees, and this is on a cold day, so it's usually like 90. By the way, I'm really sorry about if the screen's flickering. That's probably because of the camera. What I also did on the interior is I put this carbon fiber trim. Now this is not fake. This is actually the real deal. Because I would not want to modify fake carbon fiber. Now this car does come with a lot of fake carbon fiber on the steering wheel here, and you can hear it like creaking. Feels kind of cheap, I'm not gonna lie. And you also have some fake carbon fiber on the door sill, front and rear right there, and you have it on top of the gauge cluster right here, which looks kind of cheap as well. But overall, the interior of this car, I'm very impressed. This is a 2016 car, so, and I've tried to keep it in really good condition so it looks like brand new, or as close to brand new as possible. And I think it's a very timeless design in terms of not overstyling the interior. The Civic at the time had like 2 screens and it looks super outdated. This looks a lot more modern, especially for its time period. You have these simple climate control buttons, which some people could say could come out of an Audi. They feel really nice as well. A lot of the switches that you touch and interact with really feel nice, like the climate control knobs and the infotainment system and the volume knob right here, which is like on a Mercedes or a Jaguar. So that's really cool to have that. But there's a lot of things about this interior that I think make it look super duper cheap. First of all, the steering wheel, I just really think it's ugly. The design of it is just, in my opinion, very ugly. There's another thing that I think looks even worse. This gauge cluster. It looks so cheap. I mean, just look at that. This moves. It feels cheap, but besides that, the design of it. So this is the speedometer here, which is fine, but then you have this really small tachometer here, which you can't see anything. And if you can get this thing with a manual, and that you won't be able to see it at all. Is that a church bell going off? I think it is. But what's makes me even more annoyed is that on the 2.5 liter cars, this is a analog tach and there's a digital speedometer right there. So this awful looking tachometer won't be there, but whatever. Another thing I don't like is all this gloss black trim. This was gloss black, and it collects dust and fingerprints. When you first get it, it looks really nice, but over time it starts to just look icky and gross. And that's pretty much it. The interior's not much. There's not much really to see. I mean, you got this sunglass holder right here. You got, you know, your mirrors and shit like that. And you got the infotainment system, which has some interesting quirks, you know, Doug DeMuro style, if you want to do that. It has these weird things where you can change the turn signal volume. I find that very interesting, and it's under, I think, safety. Blind spot monitoring volume. So basically, if you were to have your indicator on and there was someone behind you and the blind spot monitoring went off, it would make a beeping sound. You can change the volume of that. So that's pretty interesting. And then you can adjust to daylight savings time, which is pretty cool. And then you can turn off the rain sensing wipers. You can change the time of the door locks. Turn signals, here we go. 3 flash turn signals. So that's basically when you go like this and you don't go fully committed to the turn signal. If you just want to like do that real quick, like a quick little lane change, you can do 3 flash, or you can do just 1 or none. So I like to do the 3, and you can turn on the turn signal volume on high or low. It doesn't really make a difference to me, and it's interesting. Infotainment system kind of looks pretty outdated, but it does its job, and I really like having a rotary click wheel here. Not click wheel, but like a wheel that you can interact with the system, because when you're driving, it's so much less distracting than a touchscreen. I'll give you a perfect example. My dad, he has a Volvo, what is it, the V60, so the wagon, and I've tried using the infotainment system while I'm driving, and it's just so distracting. You have to change the climate control from there, and it's the whole thing is just in the infotainment system. It's a quick little what is that music playing? But I just don't like having to take my eyes off the road for too long, so I really like having this wheel. Big fan. What the hell are they playing? Okay, well, whatever. So now I'm going to show you guys the back seat. So pretty roomy, actually. I would say if you are a taller individual, this is pretty low. As you can see, it slopes down. Watch your head when you're getting in here. For me, I'm 5'8", so I'm not that tall. I'm pretty average in terms of height. And as you can see, I got plenty of headroom. Actually, Mazda made a little indentation into the ceiling so you can have more headroom. And I also have plenty of legroom as well in my seating position. I like to sit pretty close to the steering wheel, but not like, you know, your grandma or anything like that. But I have, as you can see, pretty good headroom. But if you are over 6 foot, it may be a stretch back here. But as you can see, the passenger seat is farther back and there's not as much legroom back there. Sorry, I have a bunch of stuff in here. And then back here, you got cup holders. And that's about it. And then you can see inside the hatch, which, yeah, there's nothing really back there. And that is pretty much the tour of the interior. Now, I'm going to show you guys some sound clips, because this thing with the Borla exhaust sounds really, 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 really good. Before I actually show you the sound clips, though, I actually completely forgot to show you guys the engine in this car and a couple of other modifications that I've done to primarily. So let me open this thing up. This is kind of difficult to do one-handed. Where's the thing? Then you gotta put up this hood latch thing, which is annoying. So we made this red, and I have a K&N short ram intake. Now, I know short ram intakes do absolutely nothing for the performance of this car whatsoever. However, it sounds so good. Let me do a little rev of it to see if you can hear it from there. Yeah. When you are revving this thing on high load, the induction noise from that combined with the Borla axle back sounds really, really, really nice. And this is a Skyactiv engine, so the Skyactiv basically just means it has a really high compression ratio. I think it's like 13:1, but don't quote me on that. So it's almost to Ferrari levels. And I think the compression ratio is basically just the speed the engine runs. And the reason why Mazda did that was to increase torque and fuel economy. So they did this instead of having a turbo with a very high-tech fuel injection system. So that is the tour of my Mazda 3 hatchback. I hope you guys enjoyed it, but to end off this video, I'm gonna give you some sound clips of the Borla exhaust.
Uh-huh.